Is the highest offer necessarily the best offer? Short answer is no. However, I'm not making this video to give you a short answer. In this video, we're going to be talking about terms of an offer that make it stick out and actually make it stronger than other offers that may be higher. Before we do, have to ask you to subscribe, give us a like, leave us some comments and some feedback on maybe your experience with selling and dealing with multiple offers. But without further ado, let's get into it. So sellers, before you go to list your house, it's really important to kind of zone in and narrow down what your goals and motivations are. Obviously, people want to make the most amount of money as possible. However, there's other terms and conditions that you really need to think about, mainly in thinking in regards to timeline, your transition, where are you going, what is going to set you up for the most success in transitioning smoothly and on time. So think about those things and narrow down what your goals are. I also want to give a disclaimer that at the time this video is recorded, the market is absolutely bananas and it is a strong seller's market. So we're going to be using the scenario that a seller actually does have multiple offers and some things to choose from, because if your house is priced well and it shows well, you'll probably get multiple offers. So with that being said, sellers, it's important to know what kind of strategy you want to do when you list your house. Some people like to list and say we're not entertaining offers until a certain day and time to allow multiple bids to come in. Some people want to get it over with quick. So if a strong offer comes in quick, they'll roll with it and not entertain any others. But it's really important, sellers, to know what kind of strategy you want to do moving forward. So you've determined your motivation and your strategy, you have listed your house, and congrats, you have multiple offers laid out in front of you. Now it's time to compare. So the first thing sellers always look for in any offer is what price the buyer is offering. So you've got all your offers, you laid them out, and you look at all of the prices being offered. But what I really want you to focus on is the net that the offer is. So you have your net by looking at your sales price and subtracting each little thing that a buyer may be requesting. They could be requesting closing costs, they could be requesting a home warranty, they could ask for you to pay for some sort of termite inspection or inspection related items. So those are your fixed costs, but you also need to look at replacement costs. So are they asking for your appliances, for your curtains? If you leave your fridge and you go to the next house, obviously you may need to replace a fridge. So what is that going to cost you? So look at the price that all of the offers have, but focus on the net that each offer is giving you. The second big thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is the timeline, your closing date. This will be different for everybody because everyone's situation is different, but some buyers may want to close quick, some may need a longer time, some may give you complete flexibility to choose what you want. Some may want to close and then give you a certain amount of time lease back to keep living in the house to allow you to move on and find your next place. But either way, know your situation and compare each offer in terms of timeliness and how that's going to allow you to transition to the next move accordingly. A third item that's really big is going to be your inspection period. So in the state of Louisiana, a buyer is allowed an inspection period in which they do all of their due diligence and of course get their inspection done. But the contract says that the buyer can walk away during their inspection period for any reason whatsoever, even if it's cold feet. So you can see that it's not very advantageous to have a long inspection period because that's a long period of uncertainty. So look at the inspection period timeline that the buyer is offering. So obviously the shorter the inspection period time, probably the more preferred for you, but take that into consideration. The fourth item you want to pay attention to, and I've made a video about it in the past if you want to go check it out, is your deposit. A deposit is essentially the skin a buyer is putting in the game as collateral during this process. So I'll be honest in that Louisiana has fallen a little bit behind on making their deposits, a hefty amount like some other states, but how much of a deposit is a buyer putting down? Because that's the amount you get to keep if they walk away during a time they're not allowed to. So obviously the more deposit they put down, the more skin in the game they're putting, thus the more serious of a buyer they are. So the fifth big thing you want to pay attention to, and you're going to want to rely and lean on your realtor for this one based off of their experience, is gauging the risk for each offer you receive. I have some subcategories for this one, so bear with me. So sub 1 is going to be your financing terms and the lender they're using. Talk with your realtor about the financing terms. How much are they putting down? What type of loan are they getting? Talk about the different loan types and the risks involved with each. On top of that, the lender they're using. So the pre-approval letter you better be getting, is it from a lender that is a credible lender that is known to get the job done, or the opposite, if they may have a bad reputation of being a pain to work with and don't get the job done. So that's where you're going to lean on the experience of your realtor to know if the lender they are using is worth working with. Sub 2 is going to be the agent that is representing the buyer. Again, lean on your realtor's experience. Is the agent that is representing them known to be a team player and great to work with, super cooperative, or have they worked with them in the past and there's some red flags there? So lean on your agent there for some guidance. Sub 3 is going to be all-encompassing of any sort of terms and conditions that a realtor puts in their offer to reduce your risk. For example, there could be an appraisal contingency removal, or there could be a contingency that the buyer has to sell their house first. Agents are getting really creative with putting some sort of terms in there to reduce risk. So as an example, you could have a really high, an offer with a really high net, but there's an appraisal contingency, which could be a concern, versus another offer with a little bit lower of a net, but they have removed their appraisal contingency or have agreed to pay an appraisal gap up to a certain amount. There's just lots of things to weigh there, but I kind of call that an all-encompassing thing to determine the risk of each offer. So go through the offers with your realtor and see if there's any sort of terms like that to reduce or, enhance your risk there. So there you have it. You can easily see how price is not the only thing to consider in an offer. There's so many other terms that can make something stick out or be stronger for you. And shameless plug, that's why it's really great to have a realtor on your side to, of course, strategize in the beginning, but also help you decipher and kind of, nail and narrow down which offer is best for you. So I hope you guys got some value from this. Leave us some feedback in the comments on maybe your experience in selling. Ask us any questions you want to, and of course, subscribe to the channel. If you are looking to sell your house and you need someone to represent you, the Sandusky Group would, of course, be honored to be in the running for that. Let us know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.